Hey everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. How's everybody doing? Today we're doing a quick. I'm doing a quick live because something interesting happened in comics today that I don't think I had experienced it ever. So on November 10th, today's New Comic Book Day. As I was going to the store to pick up my stuff, I noticed. So I go to two different shops here in the DFW area. I went to my first shop to get my Marvel DC stuff, which I got with no issues. And I picked all that stuff up. And then I headed over to my second store where I get most of my indie stuff and all, and some other stuff that whatever I missed at the first store, I could pick it up there. Uh, when I showed up to the second store, I see that the new release wall it's pretty empty. They only have Marvel and DC stuff that I had already picked up. From all the reviews that you saw on the channel earlier in the week, I knew there were way more books coming out from indie publishers like Image, Boom, Vault, Scout Comics. Everyone really. Uh, so I talked to the shop owner, and they let me know that unfortunately, due to a ransomware attack, to Diamond Distributions, who is the company that distributes most of those comic books. And I'll go into that in a little bit. There was a ransomware attack this past weekend, um, and they were unable to pay for invoices and send invoices and get comics out to people and stuff like that. So they were scrambling today and this week. Uh, so I do have an article that I'll go over, kind of telling us what happened. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about the distribution of comics and kind of how weird it is of an industry, really. I don't think many other industries work like this. I would say maybe the tabletop industry is kind of similar with a few levels that you go from the publisher to a distributor to a retailer, but at least I feel like they have more options. So before 2020, before everything went wild with this global pandemic, Diamond Comic Distributors. This company was pretty much in charge of distributing comics to pretty much everywhere. Every big publisher, Marvel, DC, Image, you name it. Everyone had their comics distributed by Diamond. When this happened in 2020 and comics had to stop being produced for a few months, a few companies started thinking, what do we need Diamond to distribute our comics? So DC Comics was the first company to leave. They went outside. They found their own publisher. I believe it's called Lunar Distributions. It was somebody else, but at the beginning of the year, they changed again, which is why now you get DC Comics on Tuesdays published, and you can get them at the comic store on Tuesdays. Some shops still save them till Wednesday, but for the most part, most stores you can get them on Tuesdays and online on Tuesdays as well, on Comixology and such. Then we also have Marvel, which, if you remember our show from a couple of months ago, they had advised that they were going to move over to Penguin Publishing House, which is one of the biggest, publish book distributors in the U.S. So they've moved over there to Penguin. So Marvel Comics, and that's the reason that today I was still able to find both DC and Marvel Comics at the shop, because they don't depend on Diamond to be distributed. We've heard of other publishers maybe thinking about leaving Diamond, but as you can see, when you have a single point of failure in your distribution channel, like this one company being in charge of everything, and that point fails, it'll cause the delays, right? So in many cities across the U.S., there were no comics distributed to them from any of those imprints that Diamond is in charge of. So I'm gonna talk from an article from PC Gamer magazine, PC Magazine, written by Michael Kahn. So this came out yesterday actually, which is interesting. I hadn't seen anything about it on Twitter or anything. So ransomware hits major U.S. comic distributor. So a ransomware attack is delaying some comics in the U.S. On Sunday, Maryland-based company Diamond Comic Distributors reported that it suffered a ransomware attack that temporarily took down the company's website and disrupted the process to custom orders. So, if you're not aware of what a ransomware attack is, and if you work in any kind of company with any IT security or anything, you may know about like these security trainings for IT where they tell you, don't click on any emails that you don't recognize, and so pretty much somebody uh, they probably clicked on some kind of email or whatever. Somebody got into their system, and then the ransomware holds the system hostage until they're able to either clear it off or pay or whatever. Um, so so it looks like from what I was told today by the shop owner, he wasn't able to pay his invoice, which means that until comics are paid, they really can't be delivered, which is a whole other thing that I mean, the whole distribution model, I think it's pretty terrible. So quote from Diamond. So due to the system issues, we're experiencing some customer shipments of product with a non-sale date of November 10th will be delayed. So that was put out on Monday, but I mean, I guess they weren't really aware of where that was going to happen until today. So the article goes on to say Diamond Comic Distributors is the top middleman for transporting. They still name Marvel here, but I think Marvel, like I said, is also going through a separate as well. Marvel, Dark Horse, Image Comics, etc. The affected shipments currently include comics bound for drop points in Baltimore, Boston, Dallas. So the delays will also ensnare comic book orders sent via UPS to market overseas. So not only are those distribution centers, um, and I do want to chat with I'll bring on eventually my one of the comic book shop owners, or maybe my buddy Jack, who manages a comic shop, to talk more about like what they do when it comes to um, um, picking up their comic books or getting them shipped or whatever the case may be. Some companies ship them, some you can go to a distribution center like this one and just pick them up. So Diamond hasn't provided any more details about the attack. I don't think that's what's important for the comic, at least for the public. Let's see. So yeah, it goes on to talk about what ransomware is. So whether Diamond, okay, so it looks like they haven't heard from the company. PC Mac hasn't heard from the company to figure out how they cleared the ransomware or if it's been cleared, whatever the case may be. But so I think what's going to happen this week is that we're going to have like a little wave effect go out, because we had already been experiencing delays. I don't know if you guys are aware. Image Comics had, because of all the supply chain issues, where there's not enough paper, there's not enough shipping, there's not enough anything. Uh, Image had already delayed a few of their books, so whenever we get previews of their stuff, they will send us what's coming out that week. There was a few weeks where they sent us the same thing because they knew they had to push it back for a few things. It's really really interesting. Well, at least I find it very interesting. Um, so so yeah, that's pretty much the big deal. But I think it brings up a better point, which I think Marvel and DC had already begun to kind of think about, because one of the reasons that comics stop in March of 2020 because of the pandemic is because all the comics were stored with Diamond at their distribution center. So if Diamond shuts down, even if Marvel and DC wanted to keep distributing comics, which I completely understand why they wouldn't, because I mean we were in a pandemic and we're still kind of going through that. But uh, but yeah, I mean they realize that there's a big bottleneck that can be formed going through Diamond, so they moved outside, and there's there's good and bad things about both situations, especially if we talk to the comic shop owners. There's a lot of pain points and discounts that maybe they're not receiving anymore because Diamond, because they were the only source, I guess, the biggest source. They're able to offer more shipping discounts or quantity discounts, stuff like that, where these new distributors may not want to. Um, so, but that part's probably something we can touch on later at a later issue. So as far as this goes, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen really. My store owner told me that they should get all their stuff from Diamond for next week on the 17th. But is that going to push back even further some issues? Like, we've gotten some advanced stuff that we've been told this is not coming out this week or next week or whatever. It's still going to be a little while. And then there's some stuff that I keep track of all the stuff I want to review for the channel, from the previews and League of Comic Geeks, which is kind of a crowdsourced information of when comics are coming out. And then sometimes I won't see them come up. Like, I already have a note or something, and I won't see them come up. So I imagine those are delays. There's some stuff that's been delayed till 2022 that I was very much looking forward to talking to you guys about. But for this week, I was still able to go get comics. I still had a bunch of reviews. Most notably this week, I mean, we got Venom, we got Batman books. I do want to show you all these two covers while we're talking comics. I picked up this variant cover for Harley Quinn, the animated series, the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour #3. I really like that variant. Let me check out who the artist is, see if they have that on here. These books sometimes are not very good at mentioning the yeah, it doesn't seem. Oh, variant cover, Megan Hetrick. So this should be the cover by Megan Hetrick. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell the signature. And then for Venom, I picked up a bunch of Venoms. Yep, this is by Bill Sienkiewicz. Pretty cool. So I'm glad I still went out to both shops, even if at the second one I really didn't purchase much, because it's where I get my indie stuff. If anybody watches this video, hey Matt, how you doing? If anybody's watching this video and wants to read Venom #1, hit me up on Twitter. Here's my Twitter at EchoSpider, or hit us up at Next Issue Pod. I'll send you a code to read it, just as a thank you for watching the video. I don't have unlimited codes, but I have a few since I bought some variants. So yeah, to kind of wrap it up, I think this is going to be an issue that we discuss a little bit more into detail. I just wanted to talk about, because there's a lot of people that are not, like, they don't keep up with comics, like, with everything that's going on all the time. And I completely understand that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but because of the channel and all the things we're doing, like, I really like to stay on top of stuff, and just trying to figure out, plan out. It's mainly about the planning, right? Because we have these schedules that we make for things that are coming out this week, and we want to make reviews and stuff. We don't get to make reviews of everything in advance because we only have a few companies that are willing to work with us at the time. So yeah, let's see. Let's go to the chat real quick. John Bainbridge, I haven't been up to date on comics since the 90s. John, I'll tell you this, there's never being up to date. Like, as soon as you get into it, you're probably going to fall behind because there's so many comics that come out every week. But that's kind of the fun of it, to catch up and collect. Shout out to Matt. How you doing, Matt? So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the stream. I'll be on some other stuff. I got a show with some friends tomorrow on my buddy's channel with Rob Fishbeck on his network. So follow me on social so you can find out about that. And in the channel this week, make sure to go check out. We have some reviews for some stuff. Let me show you. So we have a review for Venom #1. This is the new Venom by Al Ewing, Ram V, with art by Brian Hitch. We also have a review for Robin and Batman by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. We also have from Boom Studios, which didn't come out this week. I mean, it did come out this week if you can buy it digitally, but I don't think it was at the shop. regarding the matter of Oswald's body, which is about the body of Lee Harvey Oswald, who shot the president JFK. We also have a reunion of Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss in What's the Furthest Place from Here. Also, John Leguizamo wrote a comic book, Venom X from Image Comics. This was also supposed to be at the shop today, but we didn't. Well, obviously, we didn't get it. And last but not least, Provenance of Secrets. This is a scout comic from Black Caravan, from their imprint Black Caravan. This is a a noir detective with a supernatural twist. So go check out those reviews on the channel. And last but not least, if you're a Patreon, you will get our advanced review of Commander Rao. We won't put this out in the public till next week because the comic got delayed, so we're just gonna save it. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone that came to watch. Pretty much appreciate it. Like I said, if you are watching this video and you want to read Venom #1, hit me up on Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter at the Next Issue Pod, or hit me up at Echo Spider. I'll see if I still have any codes to give out. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.